introduce yourself and what you do at your company.
Okay, so my name is Tal Hegbal. I work for PTI Quality Containment Solutions. I'm the business development manager, and I oversee all the operations from developing new business, setting up appointments, and managing operations with automotive OEMs and tier one suppliers.
What were some of the challenges that you were facing before you started working with us?
So when we started working in Windsor, it was a new market. We had no customers, no physical location. So a lot of our time was spent manually chasing leads. So cold calling, following up, trying to book meetings. We used a sales tool called Apollo to generate our lists, but everything else was completely manual. And that took a lot of time to do all the manual groundwork. And then on the recruitment side, our HR team was constantly overwhelmed. We had a high volume of applications and, we had to screen all of these candidates and we were doing that manually. So that was very time consuming and it slowed down our hiring process and it made it difficult to identify, which candidates were the best fit. And, we had to do that in a small, short time window. So we were finding that was creating a problem there.
All right, so let's focus on what we did on the sales side first. So just talk to me a little bit about what your challenges were, and then what we helped you to achieve.
So one of the biggest problems that I was having when I was trying to tap into this market specifically was just trying to get in touch with people. So I felt that I was spending a lot of my days just calling, a long list of people, only to find that after every 100 people, only 5 were picking up. And then to make that first connection was really hard because it took a lot of time, it took a lot of volume, a lot of effort, and the results, for success were very small. So one of the biggest things that I would say that I find value in when working with SmartSync Solutions is that they automated our sales pipeline, specifically for cold calling. So rather than spending 8 hours calling 100 people, working with Taymor and SmartSync Solutions, we were able to, now our capabilities are, we can call over 100 people in under 30 minutes.
Right, and then what results did you see from that?
So that resulted in, we're reaching wider audiences and demographics, which led to ultimately setting up a lot more appointments. So getting in front of a lot more customers, like immediately. So that was really valuable for us because we needed the opportunity to pitch our services and capabilities and show our customers, our potential customers, how we can add value to their organization. And without even getting that first initial meeting, it was basically impossible to do that. So effectively, SmartSync Solutions is one of the main reasons why we were able to put ourselves on the map. We found that in the first month, we booked 10 meetings with new clients, and one of them being Ford. So to be able to reach, high-level executives at big companies and have that process automated shows incredible value for a system like that and the capabilities that it can bring to the table.
So now talk to me a little bit about the solutions that we provided for your HR recruitment and then what that helped you achieve.
So, when it comes to HR, when we are doing recruitment, we have a short window to bring a lot of people on site. When we would have a high volume of applications and those resumes needed to be screened, that required a lot of manual work and time to screen through the candidates and basically see who is the best fit and who is the best candidate. And then working with SmartSync Solutions, we were actually able to automate our hiring process. So now all of the manual hours that were spent working on hiring have been eliminated. And within a 30-minute period, we're able to screen hundreds of resumes, giving us the best fit at the perfect time. And now once we identify those candidates, we wanted to speak to them. So there's a follow-up workflow that gets triggered to reach out to those candidates and even schedule an interview with the hiring manager. So the nice thing is that we also got a dashboard where we could track all the candidates' activities easily.
So can you tell me how that impacted your HR team?
Yeah, so it's been a huge improvement. Previously, screening resumes manually and the back and forth communication to schedule interviews could take up to 30 hours per position. Now that process is almost entirely automated.
All right, so I know we talked about both the systems. So can you just tell me what the overall impact was of working with us?
So I would say the biggest impact has been efficiency and scalability. So, we're saving significant amount of time across both sales and HR. And at the same time, we're actually improving the results. We're booking more meetings, moving faster in hiring, lowering our turnover rate, and operating much more efficiently without needing to increase corporate headcount. And that's the biggest thing, right? We're increasing revenue while decreasing costs at the same time.
Can you just kind of talk to me a little bit about what it was like working with this?
So, the process was very smooth. You guys took the time to really understand our workflows and identify areas where automation would have the biggest impact. And I think that's where you guys added a lot of value.
All right. And would you recommend our agency to any other companies?
If you're dealing with manual processes in sales or recruitment, this kind of automation can make a huge difference. I definitely recommend them to any company looking to scale more efficiently.